Stay tuned, guys. Let me know if you guys have any questions. So again, it's your boy Cobe Rise. It's coming for you, coming for you, It's coming for you, coming for you, Oh, love. You never get the gorillas. Everyone know we the realest. A bunch of go-getters. I bet you can tell I'm the illest. You don't need your fingers to feel us. You know I can straight spit. Knock you out with a late hit. Feel like I'm the one like I'm Neo. But this is the real life, not the Matrix. I'm about to go ape shit. Ain't no gotta roll out. I know gotta roll out, yeah. I know gotta roll out, yeah. I roll on What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Cobe Rise, you dig? We back at it again with a banger. Shout out to Queen City Organics. We got the sea moss live. It's rocking out. Reaching out to everybody who has ordered their sea moss. So I already been reaching out to a few people getting their jars ready. So yes, we are live and direct. We are live and direct with the sea moss. So make sure you guys tap in. Also, this is the perfect time to get right for fitness, man. It's the summertime. We rocking it off. We kicking it off this summer. Man, we can't be out here looking crazy. We got the beach coming up. Yo, we can't be out here looking bad out here, man, in these streets. Listen, we looking good this summer. So if y'all looking to get fit this summer, make sure you guys are hitting me on the IG below. King Alajuwan 21. King Alajuwan 21 on IG. Facebook is Rise and Rise Academy. Also, shout out to True High Clarity. You dig? But we're gonna get a little background going real fast. Boom, boom. Let's rock out. Yo, how's everybody doing today? Man, we have a real special topic, man. The truth about big pharma profiting off of these parasites. What am I talking about, man? Well, look, I don't know if you guys really understand what's going on in the food industry, right? So I looked at this, this, I don't know what you want to call it. We'll call it a documentary. It's called Foods Inc. What's going on, Kristen? What's good? We're talking about big pharma and how parasites are entering the food. Is crazy. So we got to speak about our food industry. So it's the inside look of how America's corporate controlled food industry is keeping everything controlled. And that's a important word, is controlled. So that's telling you right there that big pharma is controlling the foods, right? Because of the fact that it's called controlled foods. Yes, sir. What's going on, big dog? So the current method of this whole raw food production, it started back in the 50s, and this is the production of food overall. And it's been changed because we're now getting into the controlled environment where primarily it's being held, or food is being sold in corporations. So globally, it's a food production business. And this is the emphasis, right, on business. All right. And so it's due to serve the world in large quantities of food, not necessarily quality, but the quantities. All right. And so all of these things are, long story short, they get big profits on serving in large quantities at a low price rate so they can charge you guys and get the money for it. What's going on, Kales? Man, we talking about big pharma today, man. We got these parasites in the foods looking crazy. It's looking crazy, bro. So I'm talking about this this companies, these big corporations, and they're shipping out big quantities of food, and we're lacking in the quality. So we're gonna speak on a lot of things, man, and it's affecting our health overall. So we're gonna get into a lot of the discussions and some videos, man. It's been pretty crazy. So I just want to show you guys some examples of parasites entering in the foods, right? And so this is what I'm going to show you guys on YouTube is going to be a little graphic, all right? So I want to make sure I proceed with the caution, right? Because we're talking about the food and parasites. All right, give me a second. Let me pull this up, y'all. Let me know if you guys can see this. Hold on. Let me show it up real quick. IG Live, y'all have to go to the YouTube so you can see it. All right, here we go.
This is why I'm not going to serve this fish raw. You see that? And again, I don't think they really attach too much, but I mean, this thing is just riddled with worms. These are those round worms.
That is crazy.
You can see it better on the cutting board.
That's crazy. So he was just showing you guys the parasites in the food. Food be causing cancer. Yo, certain foods be causing cancer, and we're going to get into that because we got parasites and worms in foods, and people don't even know it. So this is the thing about knowing how to clean your food, knowing what to look for, knowing what to buy, because all these different things can cause cancer if you're not careful. And if you don't know what to look for in the foods, we're thinking, oh, this is normal because it's meat. Nah. You're probably looking at a cancer cell, big dog. And so this is what happens. When the meat industry gets these foods, sometimes the butchers that tell the truth, they actually show the cancer cells, right? And I'm going to see if I can try to pull it up real quick just so you guys can see this, man, because it is insane. So sometimes when you do or cut meat can have cancer cells. And I know everybody's like, oh, you got to Google it. I'm going to just Google it for you right now. And then what they do is the butchers cut out that part where it shows the cancer. Let me see if I can find it, man. This is crazy. Let me see if I can find that joint, man. Oh, man, let me see. It's got a lot of clips. I saw one specific clip where it talked about that and actually showed it. I can't find it for real. Man, that's going to be crazy. If I can't find that video, man, I wanted to show y'all. I wanted to show you guys the actual cancer cells. But anyway, long story short, some of the processed meats can cause cancer. Yes, that is true. And that's because a lot of these meats are mixed with these different ingredients, and then we're eating it and not even knowing about it. But again, big pharma or big food corporations are selling this thing to us, right? I can't pull it up right now. But yeah, pork be having worms in it. And yes, it does. And that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about parasites. And that's actually the next topic that we're going to get into, because I want to, there's been a video where this lady started her skincare company. And a lot of the times people can't clear their skin because there's been parasites that are inside of our bodies that causes our skin to become dry and brittle and all this stuff, because these parasites are sucking the nutrients out of us, right? And so the lady talks about that. So I'm going to share this screen as well. And let me know if you guys can hear it in the video. Let me share this instead. All right, boom. Here it is right here. And for y'all that can't see it on IG, make sure you guys go to YouTube and then you'll be able to see this. All right. Check this out, man. This is insane.
Ever, because it can deform the child. There's so many things that goes deep into it. So, and then you get more violent, right, especially with that specific parasite. But like, I feel like my passion is like parasites, because I'm like, is it you or is it the parasites? And when I kind of was conscious of like Like I can see
You
parasites
guys
on
share
people.
this out. Make sure you guys like in the comments.
That big gut that people have.
The parasitic gut.
That's all. And I didn't believe it until, like I said, I had 5,000 people, and they were allowed to send the poop. Like I was like, I'm done. Like I've seen baby poop, and the mom decided to cleanse while, and no, she did it anyway. I mean, parasites crawling all through this newborn baby's.
Yo, okay, so I'm gonna break down what she just said, man, in case y'all missed it. This lady said that sometimes you have a big gut, and a lot of that comes from what? The parasites. It's the food that you eat, and it's not helping you out in losing weight. And so I wanted to show y'all that because why? She's talking about how doing a detox cleanse, you'll be able to see these parasites when you do the proper detox cleanse. It's crazy. Deli meat has high sodium, which can cause high blood pressure. Yo, that's true. You want to know why? Because deli meat is processed. If y'all didn't know, yes, deli meat is highly processed. So that way you can tell this is what's going to lead to different causes of high blood pressure, which is increasing sodium, like you said. So you're actually right about that. You know what I'm saying? And so, again, we're going back to the parasites thing. That a lot of times you can see it in the meat. So you guys got to be cautious of buying these certain foods out here because it has the parasites in it. I remember I saw a video where there was a bear that was out in the wild, and what they were doing was going on, and this bear had a string coming out the side of it. You know what I'm saying? And so these people were on a tour guide, and the tour guide was talking about the bears, and it was showing the bears, right? And it showed the bears have strings outside of it. Those strings were actually worms. That was actually a parasite worm coming from the food, aka the salmon that was coming out of the lake. And they were like, "Damn, that's crazy." Well, guess what? A lot of people, we eat salmon, and so you got to know what to look for so you can clean out these worms and these parasites, right? Now, me personally, if you're on a plant-based diet, you can eliminate a lot of these problems. You dig what I'm saying? What's going on, T? People be like, "Why can't I lose weight?" It's because the meats have steroids in it. Yeah, so you know what's crazy with that too, man? Like, that's going to be a lot of the hormones, because the steroids, of course, is a hormone, so it's going to affect the body. So be careful with these meats, man. You got to go to the organic meats. The organic meats are not that pumped up with the steroids, right? But another thing you got to be careful with, Kales, we talked about, steroids in the chicken or the beef. We also got to think about the antibiotics that go into these meats, because what they do is they pump these meats with antibiotics so they don't get sick. But what they do is they still have to kill the meat and send it off to the big butchers and corporations so they can slaughter it and sell it to the masses. So yes, the antibiotics are still in those meats too. So you got to make sure that you are aware of that. And a lot of times when you're going out to eat, yes, you're going to be digesting a lot of these meats that are not necessarily organic. So if you're going out, if you're buying all these foods, you're going out, you think you're eating clean, you got to look at where they're getting their meats from. So you're not going to know unless you do the research. So long story short, let's say if you go to, I'm not saying that these restaurants actually have clean meats or non-clean meats. All I'm saying is do your research. So if you just Google the restaurants that you go to, look up and see who manufactures their foods. Where do they get their food from? A lot of these restaurants get their foods from these big corporation foods that say they're clean. Until you do the research, you got to look at their websites to see where the source is coming from. And a lot of these sources are coming from these big time farms. And if you look at where these big time farms are and what they look like, you can see that a lot of these so-called big farms are just mass produced farms, aka it's a slaughterhouse. So it's a big, huge slaughterhouse where they have all these different cows coming in and they just slaughtering them through these machines. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of these meats are not necessarily grass fed. All right. They're not grass raised. So you have to look at the meats that are farm raised, meaning a healthy farm. What's going on, Cuzzo? So, and I'm speaking like this because I want to be clear about the topic. And so, long story short, you're not going to know where you're getting your meats from until you do your research, which can cause issues. And with you not losing weight, having hormonal issues due to the steroids in the meat, make them bigger, aka mostly the chicken, because the chicken is actually a small bird, but they pump them with the steroids to make them bigger. Same thing with turkey. Turkey's a smaller bird, but you put them with steroids to make them bigger. Why? Because you can sell more quantity that way. So if you look at the chicken leg back then versus the chicken leg today, it's a big difference. And so a lot of that is due to the antibiotics, aka steroids or cleaning supplies in the chickens and the beefs. That for when they're cutting them up, you're digesting that because it's not like they're cleaning it out at all. You know what I'm saying? But you're digesting it whenever you eat it. And I'm not saying to go against me or nothing like that. What I'm saying is be careful when you eat these foods because a lot of them, yes, they again have some parasites in it due to it being a dirty environment. Check out Foods Inc. and What the Health, and you'll see what I'm talking about. They show a lot of these farmers and how they do, and some of them don't even show themselves at all because they declined showing the truth. And a lot of them don't show the truth because they're paid or incentivized not to tell the truth. They're incentivized to keep on the hush so that way they can keep on producing these, big time corporation meats for places like Tyson's Chicken and things like that. So if you check out Foods Inc., you'll see a lot of the details that way. That's why you're supposed to eat from a farm and not a grocery store. Yeah, that's true. So talk to your farmers too. So if you're going to go and get your meats from a local farmer, talk to your local farmers, right? And have them share their information out so that way you can have an understanding of how they're treating their meats, how they're treating their chickens, and what they're pumping their chickens with, if they're pumping their chickens at all. If they say they're organic, have them or ask them questions like, if are they all organic? Yes. Do you have any videos or just showing that they're an actual clean environment or how they're being grazed up? And a lot of times they'll be honest and show you. Some of them will say, we're 100% natural. I have a farm down the street. I have chickens that's grazed there. I have cows that are grazed here. There's no, crazy slaughterhouse. I do everything, based on the book. We do them ourselves. So what you do is you build a relationship with farmers, and you can do the same thing with vegetables too, because a lot of the pesticides and things are in the vegetables whenever you go to the grocery store. So, talk to your farmers, get to know your local produce, because again, if you're not able to go to Food Lion, if you're not able to go to Walmart, if you're not able to go to, Harris Teeter's or whatever like that, where are you exactly are going to go? So a lot of us don't know these things. So you want to be well equipped of knowing where to go to get your food. So what I recommend to do, yes, try your local farmers market, try your local Asian markets. A lot of them are, local farmers. So build a relationship with them, talk to them, right? I've actually talked to a few farmers out there. What's going on, Drea? I've talked to a lot of local farmers, and they pride themselves on having a huge farmland. They pride themselves on, producing the best soil, getting outside of the city and getting into the rural areas. So they have a best chance of growing their vegetables. I'm gonna give you a story. I know a guy who has probably a couple acres of farmland, and he just started out, so he's fairly new. But long story short, he had some seeds. He grew some zucchini and squash. He only had a few seeds, right? He just planted them out, grew them, and out of a few seeds, you wouldn't believe how many vegetables he got out of it. He had about 45 zucchini and squashes just off of a few seeds. And so that's what happens when you nourish your plants, when you nourish your garden, when you water your garden, getting proper sunlight. You have a lot of great produce that come out of it. So you bear fruit what you soil, right? So these are clean. Everything's organic. He didn't put any pesticides on it. He let them grow naturally. And man, that zucchini and squash was some of the best zucchini and squash I ever had. I didn't even cook it. I ate it raw. I ate that raw, and it just tasted so wonderful, man. So it's a big difference when you have a relationship with your farmers, man. And luckily enough, I know him so well. He gave me a few for free just because of it, man. And I really appreciated it. So it's building relationships, and that's a business tool too. Just build your relationships with people, and you'll have a lot more great things come to you. So same thing with the local farmers, man. So I just want to give that quick update, right? Also, so we're going to talk about benefits of food. All right. Benefits of the food. A good cancer stopping food, since we talked about cancer kills, a good cancer stopping food, or I'm not going to say cancer stopping. Let me be more clear about that. What can aid in the lowering of cancer, right, is soursop. Soursop has a lot of benefits in it. Soursop is really high in vitamin C. Also, it has other antioxidants that can help protect the cells, also the skin, from environmental damage, and it boosts the immune system, right? And so what that means from environmental damage is very important, because our environment also aids in us either feeling good or feeling bad. And so soursop is a great food that you can eat based on the source and based on what it can produce to help us from that environmental damage. All right. It's also really good for gut health. So soursop is really high in fiber and is beneficial for good bacteria growth. All right. It also helps in weight loss, which comes from the gut health. It's very low in calories. It's high in water, nutrients, and it helps you pretty much feel full and hydrated, right? And so some studies, and this is where the cancer comes in. So some studies have shown that soursop may have cancer-killing properties, and that extracts from that fruit that helps destroy the cells that restraints on chemotherapy drugs, right? So long story short, it's a natural form of chemotherapy, right? So make sure you guys get your soursop. And we'll be coming out with soursop products under the Rise and Rise Academy Queen City Organics combination. So keep us in the loop. I'll keep you guys posted on all of the things that's coming to play in the future on our products, because we're here to help out when it comes to the health. All right. So it's a quick show. I wanted just to give you guys some of the things that's been going on in the food, with the food. Also, here's another video on Big Pharma. I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. So 19 Keys and Yaki Awakening, if you guys don't know them, it's a pretty cool group. But anyway, they did a video a couple years ago talking about the food matrix, alkaline health and healing the food, which is, is widely known. It's something that I've done myself. But I want to give you guys a quick video, and I want to break it down a little bit before we go. It's a very important video. It's pretty cool. I like the two gentlemen. They're both very knowledgeable about food and just health in general, right? So let me pull this up and let me know if you guys can hear it. All right, boom, here we go. I'm about to play the video.
Is, basically taking pills.
Suppressive therapy.
Yeah, suppressive therapy, having nothing to do with healing or curing.
Facts.
You understand me? Just aiding you in your disease. Like, then when you're not looking at it from a Western perspective, you look at it from an Eastern perspective, because a lot of people don't realize that the way they go about healing and medicine around the world is completely different than the science of America.
Bro, they got something called medicine-less hospitals in the East.
Yeah.
Where you go to the hospital and it ain't not one damn pill there.
Yeah.
And people coming out whole.
Also, think about the hospitals and what they look, man. The hospitals look like you about to die. You go in there, they just white walls. They the colors, nothing is vibrancy. Nothing speaks to life. Like, there should be plants in there. It should be crystals. It should be environments of vibrancy. It should be clean, good foods. Everything in that hospital you should walk in there and feel like, oh, I'm raising my vibration. I'm about to live.
So check this out.
The hospitals feel like a mortuary.
If you look down on a hospital, right? I want you, when you get your time, I want you to look this up.
So they're talking about the different hospitals, man, and just how the environment itself can either make you or break you. And this is something that jail does too. So when you go, well, I ain't never been in jail, so I can't speak on jail like that. But I do know that it's similar to just not feeling of a good feeling. It just makes you feel crazy just due to the environment. So environment is important in your health. And that's one thing they're speaking about is the hospitals, the way they are. It's almost like a mortuary. You almost like you feel dead when you go in there. And so that alone can make you sick as well. So that's long story short is what they're doing. They're breaking it down from their perspective. All right. So we'll view the video for a few more minutes.
So look down on a hospital, just Google a hospital and get the blueprint of them. It looked just like a rat maze. I mean, identical as a rat maze.
Yeah.
So it's all about these mazes and these environments they putting us in. And that's why infrastructures is important.
I mean, hospitals, schools, and prisons all have similarities.
Yes, and it's all a pipeline. All a pipeline. School to prison pipeline. If you don't go to prison, school to hospital.
Right.
All due to how you're interacting with your environment. Yeah. And then hospitals.
Yeah.
It's built up like horse stalls.
But also the fact that you're a very knowledgeable brother that comes and has the knowledge of mineralization and vitamins and food, I also think about the idea that I talked about it before, that, the death, the criminals, the disease first happens at the dinner table. But it's not just, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
It's not just on a woman to be able to have this particular knowledge. You understand me? Because if your wife is cooking, but you don't have the knowledge of what's right to be put on that plate, then you won't even know how to manage, you understand me, what's right or wrong. You can't be like, nah, babe, that ain't good for this, that, and the third. So
hey man, shout out to 19 Keys Suit Maker, man. That suit is fresh right there. I just want to give him his props on the suit. But anyway, so what he's talking about is just having the knowledge of food. And so in having the knowledge of food, you know, you don't want to just trust the people that are making your food, right? You want to make sure y'all know each other, right? But you got to know food knowledge yourself. And that's one thing that helped me out, because when I started to cook for myself, I know what I put in my food. So I know exactly what I'm getting. I buy a lot of my stuff is pretty much all my stuff is plant-based, meaning this. I buy my wild rice, I buy my amaranth, I buy my vegetables, right? I get my chickpeas and all that, and I season it with the season that I know, and it's coming from, you know, good sources. So that way I know I'm eating as clean as possible, right? So when I go to these restaurants, that's what I look for. I look for foods that are more of the natural route. And I know people just tell me different things, right? If I go out, I want to eat something, I can't cook, whoop-de-whoop, whatever. All right, that's cool too, and I'm with that. All I'm saying is I choose a more natural source, right? And so let's say if y'all having somebody cook for you, you got to know what's going on, so that way you can know what's right and what's not. I'm gonna give you an example. I went out to eat, and I remember going and trying different foods, and the food just doesn't taste right. The food doesn't taste right. And I know a lot of times it's because it lacks in quality. Like, I actually saw some discoloration in like a salad when I went out to eat. And I'm like, this is old salad that they're selling me. So if I didn't have that knowledge, I'm over here eating old stuff, you're getting sick. You know what I'm saying? If you're not knowing what it's supposed to taste like, what it's supposed to look like, you know, if you're not knowledgeable of that, man, they can almost put anything on that plate, you know, serving you uncooked foods, right? You know, especially if you eat meat, you got to know what that looks like. I just showed you a video where the butcher was cutting out parasites out of the food, out of the fish. So if you're eating this food, you got to look at this food and know what's going on, right? So that way you can have a better understanding before you put it in your mouth, because the last thing I want someone to do is go out to eat and get sick and not knowledgeable of what they're supposed to look for in your foods. All right, we're going to do a couple more minutes of the video, and then we'll do a breakdown before we close.
I want to impart upon the rest of the black men that's looking, and the rest of the men, period, that's going to view this, that you have to have this sort of knowledge to know how your household is being guided.
Oh, yeah.
You don't know if your wife is killing the family or feeding y'all heart disease or diabetes or...
First of all, man, if your wife can't cook, bruh, all right, dog, that might be a personal question. Well, that might be a personal statement. Man, make sure your boyfriend, girlfriend, all that stuff know how to cook, man. And make sure y'all are both aligned on your food, because, you know what I'm saying, you got to know what your partner like. Your partner got to know what you like. And y'all have to cook for y'all's own personal gain. That should be talked about before y'all get together. That's just my personal thing before I had to go in on that, man. I just thought it was funny. I'm like, yo, I can't do that, man. I can't have somebody cooking for me. They trying to mess me up. Like, nah, I'm mostly plant-based. So before you cook for me, I need to know what's going on.
Or, you know, colon cancer, because you don't understand the food and the makeup and the byproduct of the chemicals and the ingredients on the inside of it in the first place.
Yeah.
So to be a good steward of the family, to be a leader of the family, you got to have this kind of knowledge.
Yeah, you got to know the ledge.
Yeah,
you know?
You can't, because I said it before, and a lot of women was like, well, it ain't just women's responsibility. And you completely correct that the man has to have the knowledge, because otherwise you can't filter what the woman is doing, and she may be doing her best, but not knowing.
Yeah.
You understand me? And especially where we at as a degraded society, specifically when it comes to the deconstruction of the roles that society throws upon us and the destruction of the family order in the first place, man doesn't even know how to play role.
Facts.
You understand me? And a man in a household is supposed to be a teacher.
Yeah.
Right? If you don't have...
They on a whole different topic anyway. So I'll stop the share right there. But yeah, long story short, man, be knowledgeable about the foods that you eat, because it can mess you up. There are parasites in the food, all right? You got to make sure that you're eating clean, okay? So understand that being knowledgeable is the key. Being knowledgeable of the food, building relationships, knowing where you're getting your food from, all these different things help out when it comes to your health and food. again, what I'm gonna say is, you guys watch Foods Inc. Watch Foods Inc. What's going on, Trey? If you watch that Foods Inc. documentary, it'll open up a lot of eyes to you, because it shows how these big time corporation farmers are pretty much, what's the word? I want to use a great word or a great analogy when it comes to this. A lot of these farmers are being incentivized to treat meats a certain way because big corporations know what's best for us, which is why I say, when I say controlled, big pharma and big food corporations, they control the environment, meaning they control your food system. So they have to control the environment of the food which we are supposed to be digesting. And what I'm saying is, it's not as clean as what we think it is. And be careful, because why? A lot of these things, or a lot of these meats, are being cut and are being treated into a facility similar to a jail cell, because of the way that they're being treated. It's dirty in there. It's not clean. And so a lot of these meats are going to have things like parasites in them and what have you. And some of these butchers, a lot of them are not, or they don't care like that. So you got to be aware of what you're eating, and you got to be aware of the quality of the food that you're digesting, because it can hurt you in the long term. You dig? It's your boy Cobe, Rise and Rise. You dig? We out here. I appreciate everybody for joining in. Shout out to my IG family. Shout out to my Facebook and Rise and Rise family. You dig? We're going to be up out of here. When we're faced with an obstacle, what we do, y'all, we rise and rise. Peace.